October 2020. Scrum turns 25 years old. Imagine. Now, life is not about finding yourself. It's not about sitting around waiting for things to happen to sort of magically pop up. Life is not about blaming others for what's happening or not happening. Life is about creating yourself. I started calling myself an independent Scrum Caretaker. I started calling myself an independent Scrum Caretaker on a journey of humanizing the workplace with Scrum. That is an infinite journey. It's not a finite game. It will never be over. I will never be successful. Still, it is what drives me. So let me share my life of Scrum. It's not about finding yourself. I am very fortunate because my life of Scrum actually didn't start with Scrum. It started with extreme programming. So let's turn back the clock. September 2003. 17 years plus 1 month ago. Imagine. I'm working for a company that was just assigned the task of delivering a large new platform for 2003 digital television for a large telecom company over here in Belgium where I live. Digital television by then. All television was still analog by then. There were no things like set-top boxes, rewinding, stopping, playing, pausing, whatever, looking back. That sort of, it was all linear watching, as they call it. 2003. Now, the problem with the delivery of the platform that my company was responsible for is that all contracts, negotiations, signatures, that was all delayed a lot. But like those things happen, the ultimate deadline for the delivery of the platform didn't shift. And that seems to be a reason, that was a reason at least for the founding managers of our company to give me a call and ask me to come have a look. Having done some pretty crazy stuff before that with delivery of software projects and products. So I go to the company and there's two software architects. I'll be forever grateful to them that tell me, Gunther, we need to do this with extreme programming. Okay, you're going to have to quickly explain me about extreme programming because I only know it very superficial. And that's what they did. In no more than 15 minutes, they explained extreme programming to me, and I totally fell in love with it. Why? Because I recognized all of the stuff that I had been trying to do in all of my work before that, close customer contact, sort of a lot of feedback, a lot of conversations within the team, a lot of interaction, communication, an iterative way of working, things that I've been trying to do before that, sort of common sense like hands-on, now became the official method, let's say. So I totally fell in love with it. The salespeople were not too convinced, to say the least. But there was an urgency. There was a feeling of crisis. So the founding management allowed me to go for something called extreme programming. We threw away the project plan because, you know, it had beautiful Gantt charts. And the sales and other people would say, yeah, but, you know, we can do this. Even with the reduced timelines, we can still do this. We'll shuffle some tasks and things on the Gantt chart and it will, let's say, magically work. I was like, yeah, you know what? I've been around for quite a while. I'm pretty sure it's not going to work like that. It will not work out. It will look great on paper, but it will never work out. So I got the liberty to do extreme programming. So we assembled a team, mix young people, new hires, more experienced people, the two software architects that I referred to. We threw away the project plan and the delivery plan. We threw away it all. We created user stories for that, for all the things that we needed to do. We ordered our user stories and we started working in iterations of 3 weeks. Biggest challenge by then was we had a sort of proxy customer, couple of proxy customers in the team, on the team, people from our own company. The biggest challenge was to convince the real customer to come visit us by the end of the 3-week iteration. They were like, yeah, but you know what to do. It has been prepared for a couple of years. It's sort of a pilot for a limited number of households and so on. So it had to be sort of reduce performance requirements and so on. You know what to do. Yeah, but still, I would like you to come. Now, in the case of that customer, I only had to do that once. Because by the end of the first iteration of 3 weeks, coming to visit us, see what we've done, why we've done stuff, explain it and so on. It included also the option for them to change their mind. And it was so enthusiastic about it, just seeing their works, their ideas, their innovative ideas coming to life, just was so great. Now the great thing, next step was when it was all ready and we were ready to deploy at the final infrastructure and so on, which cost us no work at all because we had been doing extreme programming all the way, meaning starting with we did all pair programming, all code, no exceptions were created by pairs. We did continuous integration, we did test-driven development, we had functional testing. Overnight, we created, based upon the result of the CI, we created a version that could be performance tested. It was all done and managed by the same team, infrastructure-wise, test suites, test scenarios, and so on. We did functional testing as part of the team. So the work that we showed and that we gathered feedback over by the end of an iteration was really completely done. So releasing that was no work at all, just doing it. Great thing was when we wanted to release, let's say, install, deploy the things at the customer side on the final infrastructure, it's like, oh yeah, but we're not ready for that. I said, oh, but we are. Yeah, how come? And then the customer had to admit, yeah, we never thought you were going to make it. Imagine my first experience, and then we started adding Scrum to that. So my big fortune is I gotten into Scrum without Scrum, which is good because it showed me in selection today that you need great development practices, development standards. You cannot do Scrum effectively without great development standards and practices in place. You can't work with an enthusiastic group of people having those things not in place. We had all of that. We had automation, we had the practices, we had the agreements. We were so low on bureaucracy. Almost the biggest thing is we managed progress at the product or platform level, mainly with some very simple burnout charts. And within our iterations, we just used a very simple whiteboard to manage our work. The rest was conversation, interaction. That's so powerful. Well, and then we started adding Scrum to that. And sort of like with extreme programming, first doing, and then sort of reading. So we started doing extreme programming in October 2003, 17 years ago. It was successful. And then I felt like, yeah, now some pressure is over, some tensions are gone. Delivery tensions. So let's read about it. So I read Ken Beck's first book about extreme programming. Amazing book, still something I would advise you to read today. But for me, most important was to find out that how we've been doing it, the advantage we were getting out of it, the value we were getting out of it was also sort of confirmed by reading the book. So that really helped. And then again, doing first. So adding Scrum to that. And then in May 2004, I went to a CSM class. Afterwards, I didn't know that up front, but afterwards it turned out the first CSM class in the Benelux, so Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg over here. Class in Brussels. We went with 5 people from our company, 25 people in total. You still had to pay in cash. Fascinating. So CSM, Certified Scrum Master class by Ken Schrader himself. I had been carefully reading the books also before going to the class, so really great. So it was sort of the start of my life of Scrum, 2003, 2004. Now what then happened is another fortunate thing that happened to me. It wasn't planned. A lot of the things I've been doing have not been planned. I just kept doing Scrum, combined often as much as possible with extreme programming, or at least other great development practices, but I just kept doing Scrum. I didn't look at career ambitions, certifications. I didn't go for the additional certifications that the Ken and the Scrum Alliance were creating. I just did Scrum. And I did that for 7 years. 7 years. Until 2010, 2011. 7 years doing Scrum with multiple teams in various conditions, different contexts, different domains, econ, government, the public sector, telecom, logistics, HR types of things, a huge amount of things. Great, 7 years. Nobody has that patience anymore. Maybe looking back, I also didn't have that, but my ambition was just to do Scrum, work with people, work with teams, do great stuff, create happy customers, create excellent products. 7 years. But those 7 years, looking back, by the end of 2010, early 2011, those 7 years were crucial. They were critical. I could stand my ground. I had my firm foundations built up in those 7 years of doing Scrum. And that helped me suddenly make a huge step and be ready, be fit to work with large organizations, mainly in the Netherlands by then, in the banking world, ING, ABN AMRO, companies like Philips, also in the Netherlands, large companies that were all looking to do Scrum. I had my firm foundation of Scrum by having done Scrum for 7 years without any other ambition, looking back. It also meant I had a lot of little problems and little burning out myself, but sort of small scale, so always time to recover and never be damaged, let's say, permanently. I'm still convinced today that if I had wanted to move, make progress too fast, sort of climb whatever virtual ladder there is out there, I would have burned myself. I would not have been sitting here explaining my life of Scrum to you. So think about it. There are things that take time. Take your time. Grow, explore, get to know stuff. There's plenty of time, plenty of years left in your life to do more than just that. So, and that was a great step. Fortunate, the importance of development practices. Fortunate moment number two, having done Scrum for 7 years in a row. And that was a foundation that allowed me to grow, to write a book, which I did in 2013, to go work with that same Ken Schwaber at Scrum.org, work with a global community of trainers and coaches. Because by the time I went for sort of the larger organizations collaboration, that was also the time that I was already working with Scrum.org, was following all of the work that Ken was doing with Scrum.org. Then I became a professional Scrum trainer. I think it's fair to say that I'm at least slightly a better trainer because I haven't done anything but Scrum for 7 years in a row. So I'm fortunate. My life of Scrum didn't start with Scrum. It has some fortunate moments, luck, coincidence, capitalizing on stuff. But again, life is about creating yourself. So that also includes serendipity, actively provoking stuff to happen, and then going for opportunities. So maybe you want to think about that. That's sort of my life in Scrum. A lot more happened since then, but it led up to me thinking, considering myself an independent Scrum caretaker, because I care about Scrum. I care about also people, and I care about the people in Scrum. So I care about Scrum not just being used for highly excellent, high quality product services and platforms, but also for the human aspect of people. Because more engaged people, more committed people will build better, excellent products. And professionals that are able to work in an environment that inspires them, invites them to self-organize. Very important, powerful thing. Self-organize in creating more excellent products will engage them, will increase their commitment. So those things go hand in hand. So think about it. Hope to see you at some sort of real life event, which might take some time, but still, my life in Scrum, my life of Scrum as an independent Scrum Caretaker.